Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. You've been searching in the dark, your sweat soaking through the floor. And buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore. Taking your breath, stealing your mind, and all that was real is left behind. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment, don't care what comes after. Your fever dream, can't you see, getting closer? Just surrender, cause you feel the feeling taking over. It's fire, it's freedom, it's flooding open. It's the preacher and the pulpit and your blind devotion. There's something breaking at the brink of every wall that's holding all that you know. So tell me, do you wanna go where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night? Impossible comes true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show. We light it up, we won't come down, and the sun can't stop us now. Watching it come true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show. Colossal we come, these renegades in the ring, where the lost get found and we crown them the circus kings. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment, don't care what comes after. It's burning, outshining anything that you know. Just surrender, cause you're coming and you wanna go where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night. Impossible comes true, intoxicating you. This is the greatest show. We light it up, we won't come down, and the sun can't stop us now. Watching it come true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show. Where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night. Impossible comes true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show. We light it up, we won't come down, and the walls can't stop us now. Watching it come true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show. This is the greatest show.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2019 National Student Medalists.
This is the greatest show. Can't stop us This is the greatest show.
Her memoir, Bossy Pants, was a New York Times bestseller. Please welcome the writer and star of Saturday Night Live, 30 Rock, and Mean Girls, Tina Fey.
Hello, how are you? Welcome to the 2019 Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. My name is Tina Fey, and I am so happy to be here with you tonight because it would be so weird if I was here by myself. I am honored to be in this giant room full of talented young artists and writers. When I was thinking about tonight and wondering what to say, I was trying to remember, I thought I remembered a quote about a society being measured by its art. But when I tried to look it up online, all I could find was a society is measured by how it treats its prisoners, which is, that's not helpful to me right now. Although I once did get a fan letter on the back of a prison cafeteria menu, and I noticed that on the weekends they get pie. So I guess we're doing pretty good as a society. Here I am. I grew up surrounded by the arts. I knew I wanted to be a part of it. I just didn't know where I belonged. My father was a very skilled painter by hobby, and he would sit me on his lap when I was small, and he would do color studies and show me how different color combinations worked. When I was a little kid, I knew the difference between burnt sienna and burnt umber, and I marveled at the immediate cheerfulness of cerulean blue. He taught me that you start a landscape watercolor by doing a color wash for the sky, and then you add the ground and the trees. And I learned that you don't paint every single detail. You don't paint every leaf. Some you just sort of suggest and let the viewer's brain fill it in. And we talked about composition and not putting the tree smack in the middle of the page and stuff like that. And when I was in second grade, I won a painting contest, guys. I won a painting contest at the local library for my reimagining of the cover art for Babar Comes to America. And if you asked me to repaint that picture today, it would come out exactly the same. Maybe a little worse. Because I'm not a painter. Some people have immediately recognizable God-given talents. My husband can play the piano and he has never had a lesson. That's just rude. I don't have that. I had to search and find my thing. When I was in 8th grade, my English teacher gave us an assignment to write an essay from the POV of a household object. You guys ever have to do this? And I got house key was my assignment for the object. And I wrote some essay about the house key. It was like stuffed in a kid's pocket and didn't like it in there. And it was scared to be in the locker all day or something. But I got the paper back and my teacher was super supportive and he said, "This is great. You are a writer. You should be writing all the time, every day." And I thought, this is terrible news. Because by then I just wanted to be an actress on The Love Boat. Which, if you're young, The Love Boat was like the closest thing we had to The Bachelor. It was just people in outfits, just being like... that acting sounded fun to me, and writing sounded like homework. So I went to college to study acting, which is a really very, very fun thing to do if your parents will let you get away with it. Because it is one of the only majors that is graded on effort and improvement. So you can get good grades while being a pretty mediocre actor, which I did and I was. But then in my 4th year, as we called it there, at the University of Virginia, wahoo-wah, guys. I took a playwriting class at my 4th year as a drama major, and I wrote a short play, and it got produced, and it was just a little one-act comedy about high school friends coming back to town for another friend's wedding. But I remember sitting in the back of the house and hearing the play getting laughs, and like realizing like, oh, this is different than just being in the play. Like, I made all those laughs. And it was thrilling to me in a way that acting, at least not the way I do it, was not. And I thought, okay, that teacher was right in 8th grade. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, writing stuff to try to get people to laugh. And maybe I can be in it sometimes, but really the writing was going to be my contribution. That was going to be the best use of me, because that's really most of what you have when you want to create something. That's mostly what you have to use is you. And so that led me to go to Chicago and study improvisation and comedy, because I found at the Second City, I finally found a place where all the things that I was halfway good at could be combined with the one thing that I was good at. And while I'm not a painter or a glassblower or a poet, I have come across some things on my journey to becoming a comedy writer that I'd like to share with you, because I think they are universally helpful in the creative process. Some of these things you guys probably clearly already know. One, failure is your friend, right? When I was at Second City, we would make up the show, part of the show every night. We would improvise it in front of the audience with nothing planned. And we'd take a suggestion from the audience and make up scenes. And sometimes it would go so badly. And I remember being on stage with my friend Rachel Dratch, and a scene would be it was so embarrassing. It just wasn't funny or wasn't working. And she would hold her little tiny mouse paw hand out to me. And while continuing the scene, just grip onto me. And in her eyes, we would be screaming at each other. And it felt like we were just free falling into just a lake of shame. And And there's something so great about having that experience that you fear the most and realizing it didn't kill you. It makes you stronger, and it's very freeing. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't worry too much about your work being perfect. I worked at Saturday Night Live for a long time, and how many of you have ever watched Saturday Night Live and said, well, that sucked? Everybody, right? To which I say, you should have seen the dress rehearsal. Because you work really hard and you do your best all week and you try to make things better and better and better as it goes. But then sometimes it just goes. And Lorne Michaels always likes to say that the show doesn't go on because it's ready. It goes on because it's 11:30. And I think that taught me a lot about not being too precious and not being afraid to show you my first 2 drafts. And it's just let it out. There's the improv saying, feel the fear and do it anyway. Because you're young people, I want to make it clear this does not pertain to drugs or taking a selfie with a chimp. Listen to that fear, don't do that. But in general, in your work, if an idea or a project makes you a little nervous, you should probably pursue it because something exciting is probably on the other side. Only the truth is funny. This is a big one in my life. Only the truth is funny. My favorite comedian is Chris Rock. Anybody for Rock? Sure. And I think that the thing you can really learn from watching Chris Rock is that he looks at everything so closely and he sees the world so clearly, and then he'll notice something that's just true that no one's ever noticed before, and then he says it. And that is the recipe for a great joke. Saying something that makes people go oh my gosh, that is true. I was trying to think of a few examples of this from Chris's act, but it's hard to find ones that are clean enough to share. But things that little things that he was speaking to us about race, but in the form of jokes. This is a classic Chris Rock joke of there's 2 kinds of malls in the world: malls for white people and malls that white people used to go to. And he's saying something very deep in that form of that joke. Another really specific Chris Rock joke that's not political, but I thought was amazing, was during the Michael Jackson trial. I remember him talking about years ago with Michael Jackson on trial, and he's like, Michael Jackson showed up to court dressed like Captain Crunch. And I was like, oh my God, he's right. Why has no one ever pointed out that Michael Jackson dresses like Captain Crunch? Rock has said, I like talking about subjects that aren't funny in the first place and making them funny. So anything down and depressing is something I'll talk about. I agree. I'm the same way. In college and at Second City, I always used to write things about, adultery and strippers and people giving birth at the prom. Because, why would you talk about anything else while that's happening? By the way, officially, the greatest new art form, at least in the world of comedy, is the meme, guys. We didn't have memes. That's an incredible new form of expression. Me/also me, that's incredible. Okay, I'm almost done. Another super, super great thing that I've taken with me forever is the phrase, take it bird by bird. Does anybody know what that's from? That's from a fantastic writer named Anne Lamott, who writes about faith mostly. She's great, and I want to meet her sometime. But she also wrote a book about writing, and she tells the story, when you have a project or a task that you feel super overwhelmed by. She tells a story in her book about her younger brother had a middle school project due about birds, and he had not started it, and it was due the next day, and he was having a panic attack about it, and his father just sat him down and said, son, take it bird by bird. And I cannot tell you the number of times that has been applicable in real life. Did someone jump? Okay. Just checking to make sure I was still there. That you didn't switch to the game. Okay. Lastly, I will say it's okay to make something that is not for everyone. Okay? Hits may happen, right? But setting out to try to make something commercial or that can be enjoyed by everyone is a recipe for cream of celery soup. Don't chase money. You can never judge if something is good by whether it made money. Did you know that when it first came out, The Great Gatsby sold only 20,000 copies? And now it has gone on to inspire several terrible movies. So I don't know if you guys plan to be professional artists and writers. I don't know your life. But having the experience and the achievement of what you've already done, the great thing is that no matter what you end up doing, you've already accessed the creative part of your life and of yourself. You have all had the experience of making something where there once was nothing. So you know that anything is possible. You have unlocked a path to connection with other humans by finding a way to express yourselves. Okay? You know how to have an open mind because once you have seen that a leaf isn't just a green leaf, it's actually green and brown and purple and a little yellow where the light hits it, you can start to see the complexity of the world all around you, and you're open to the idea that you don't already know everything. So whatever you do going forward, take it bird by bird, embrace your failures, try to say something true that no one's ever said out loud before, dress like Captain Crunch. I congratulate you all. I look forward to seeing what all you create in the future, and to leave you with a quote from the American theater poet Stephen Sondheim. Sure. Anything you do, let it come from you, then it will be new. Give us more to see. Congratulations, you guys.
We live in tumultuous times, and so this is my way of understanding them, and hopefully making a statement to better them.
My work is often about my identity, so no matter what medium I'm in, I usually always revert back to this internal reflection.
One of the greatest things about art lies in creativity, the braveness to break old rules and to start something new.
When we are creative, we are expressing the truest part of ourselves, the part that's unique to every person.
Hi, my name is Jordan Smith. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm 17 years old, and I got a gold medal in digital art.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman and CEO of Scholastic, Dick Robinson.
What a great start to the program, the incomparable Tina Fey. She said it all. Thank you. This is my turn to talk a little bit about why you're here and the history of all this and how it happened and what it's about. It's about hope, creativity, and the future. That's what this night is about, that's what you're about, and that's what this award ceremony is all about. You winners of the 2019 Scholastic Art and Writing Awards, your families, friends, and teachers are gathered here to recognize you as one of the top young artists or writers in the United States. Truly the best of the best. I want to thank this evening's special guests for being here with us, including actress Rose Byrne, our two alums, fashion designer Zac Posen, and astronomer Lucianne Walkowicz, this year's Alumni Achievement honoree, Pulitzer Prize winner, and U.S. Poet Laureate, Tracy K. Smith, and of course, Tina Fey. All are here tonight to honor you. And I also want to thank the new Executive Director of the Alliance for Young Artists and Writers, Chris Wisniewski, the Alliance Chairman, Hugh Room, and the many Scholastic and Alliance volunteers supporting this event, led by Yannick Hart, and of course, special thanks to another incomparable, Scholastic's creative leader, Billy D. Michel, for staging tonight's great celebration of your talent. The story of these awards, like the company Scholastic, which started them, began almost 100 years ago. Now Scholastic is known to almost everybody, from their school experiences with our magazines and our books and our characters like Clifford the Big Red Dog and Captain Underpants and Dogman and Goosebumps and the Magic School Bus and the Wings of Fire, and of course Harry Potter and the Hunger Games. But in the early 1920s, Scholastic was one magazine and one person, the 25-year-old founder, M.R. Robbie Robinson. He asked teachers, principals, and superintendents of schools, "What can I do to help you and also help my struggling magazine, The Scholastic?" Their answer: create an award system that will recognize young writers and artists so they get the same recognition as athletes. And so in 1923, the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards for students in grades 7 to 12 was launched in post-World War I America. Like Scholastic itself, which evolved from magazines to book clubs, book fairs, educational programs, and then digital reading and learning, the awards program was nurtured in schools by teachers who were seeking good ways to identify creative talent and help young people understand the value of reading and writing and art. Many famous artists and writers have been first recognized through the awards, from Truman Capote to Andy Warhol, from John Updike to Robert Indiana, from Joyce Carol Oates to Richard Avedon, from Lena Dunham to Zac Posen and Paul Chan, and authors of children's books such as Make Way for the Ducklings and Arthur. All of these people won Scholastic Art Awards as teenagers. And each of these winners has said that the recognition and the scholarships they won spurred them to go to art school or university and try for the difficult life of the artist or writer. It is this recognition which is so important at any age, but is particularly valuable when you are in your teens, as you all know from this experience. When that expert judge, who doesn't know your face or your name or your school or your background, says, "Your work is not only good, it is the best of the best," then you know you can do it. You can in some way use your newly developed skill to build a world and a life of creativity and imagination. My brother and 3 sisters and I and our children are probably the only people here who can literally say we owe our lives to the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards because of the following story. My mother won a Scholastic Poetry Award when she was in high school. Later, when she graduated from college just as the Great Depression hit, her mother said, "Why don't you try to get a job at Scholastic, those nice folks who gave you the Poetry Award?" She got that job, and 3 years later married our father, who was the founder and editor-in-chief of Scholastic. So that long ago Poetry Award certainly led to our being here today. And thanks to that story, the Robinson family, through 3 generations, has every reason to believe that the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards can change the trajectory of your life, just as it did for ours. While you winners don't know precisely where this award will lead you, whether to galleries or blogs or bots or YouTube fame or movies or architecture or writing or fields unknown, you will certainly be among those who define the important issues for your generation. This evening we gather to honor you for your achievement, recognize you for your excellence, and most of all, trust to the promising future of your talent, which can and will shape our world for years to come. As we celebrate these awards, we are reflecting on what is it that defines the heart and soul of this program, and why is it important? First, the heartbeat of this program is in the schools, with those teachers who see great things in their students and teach them how to draw and write and express themselves so they can communicate their vision. Teachers are the key, the power that drives young people forward, the gatekeepers, the encouragers, the providers of learning and hope. And through the framework of the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards, each teacher helps their students to do significant work, to enter the awards, and to be recognized. This is also all about the grassroots, the work done by students and teachers in thousands of individual schools, then through local contests sponsored by more than 100 affiliates covering almost every state, and now culminating here in this great national ceremony. Let us have a hand of applause for the 257 teachers who are here with us tonight. Please stand and take a bow. So it's great that all of you here understand how important those teachers have been in making you the person you have become. This program, starting with teachers, is also about recognition of creativity and imagination and talent. The national focus on creativity is still white hot right now. Our society is hungry for content and ideas and for visions of the future, which you as young artists and writers can see and can embody in your work. You have been recognized for your talent in short story or photography or sculpture or oils or jewelry. Now you can take those skills to new levels, finding new tools to combine story and words and images in new content packages, harnessing the power of new forms of video, photos, and graphics, and combining them into new compositions which now can be instantly published on the internet and find thousands of new readers. The direction of this program is always toward the future. Although the program is 96 years old, it is always about now, the students who are being recognized this year, you. And even as you are winning these awards in 2019, there are young people in schools throughout the country who are being groomed by their teachers to be here in 2021 or 2025. So each year in the month of June, new talented young people will be recognized in this national ceremony. As we salute you tonight, we know the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards is all about how you develop, how new creative talent is born and discovered, and how you and your successors will shape the future, for it is you who will be responsible for the America and the world of the mid-21st century. So join me in cheering for you, the winners, and in celebrating the power of your creativity and imagination to expand, to strengthen, to reach out, and touch the world of the future. Please recognize you. Right.
In my lines, I try to communicate that I wish for the world to realize that that words have this sort of energy to them, and we often hide ourselves and that power.
I would like us all to have deeper understandings of each other as human beings and not as just restricted to these kind of identities and oversimplifications that we assign to one another.
It's all about the connection and the community that poetry brings, because you're vulnerable together. You're together.
I think that's where we get this this drive towards human connection, towards human empathy, is that we are all human and trying to express that in the best way we can.
I believe that we all need to unite with each other and realize that that even if we are different, that there's something between us that we all share, and that is the human experience.
She received the 2012 Pulitzer Prize for her collection of poems, Life on Mars. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 22nd United States Poet Laureate, Tracy K. Smith.
Good evening. Good evening. I am thrilled to be here tonight to present the evening's first award medalists, the National Student Poets. Now, this award is particularly resonant for me because poetry became vital to me when I was just a year or two older than the students being honored tonight. I was struggling to understand who I was and where I belonged. Writing poems allowed me to look at the world before me, to seek out its small details, and to use them as a means of claiming what was real and meaningful. I believe that practice created an inner largeness and certainty that kept me anchored. Poetry is no less private an enterprise for me now, but I've also begun to see its function in broader social or cultural terms. Poems affirm the validity of a mode of sense-making that's not constrained by mere logic, mere utility, or mere commercial viability. And poems affirm the validity of modes of experience different from the ones each of us might instinctively claim or seek. Poems insist that we adopt, in their presence, a humility and a vulnerability that stands in direct contradiction to the confidence, persuasiveness, and authority, be it real or feigned, that we're taught to assert or aspire to. Poems lay bare the self, and I happen to believe that progress, justice, stability, and hope can only occur in spaces where the self stands unafraid to be seen as it actually is. I believe this is true in private terms, and I believe it's also true in public terms. And so I place enormous faith in the reading and writing of poetry as tools for repairing our human culture in the 21st century. Over the past, you can clap for that. Over the past 7 years, the National Student Poets Program has created a legacy of our country's most promising young poets by providing each class with resources to develop their skills as poets and supporting them as community service leaders who engage and inspire young and old alike. This is the nation's highest honor for youth poets creating original work. 5 outstanding high school poets whose work exhibits exceptional creativity, dedication to craft, and promise are selected annually for a year of service as National Poetry Ambassadors. And the only way to be considered for this prestigious appointment is by first receiving a National Medal in Poetry from the Scholastic Awards. This year, the awards received more than 20,000 poetry submissions, by far the largest writing category. It's a good time for poetry. The Institute of Museum and Library Services is the funding partner for the National Student Poets Program. Their visionary work connects America's young people to museums and libraries across the country and helps to ensure that their talent is nurtured and that they're recognized for their crucial contribution to our cultural life. I had the chance to meet this year's 5 promising young poets at their induction ceremony at the Library of Congress last summer. And they're with us this evening to perform original poems that each has written for tonight's ceremony. Here they come. I have to say when I met them, we had a chance to speak, and I heard them read and talk about their work, and I thought, wow, times have changed. When I was in high school, I thought I was this great poet, and I was not doing anything near as meaningful and moving as what these young poets are doing. So they're going to present poems that express their passionate feelings, questions, ideas, and hopes about the issues of the day, which include things like the environment, war, poverty, and racism.
Of a Sufi woman, after the Sinai Mosque attack, 2017. My mother's sadness, diaphanous, which, to me, was like a rolled prayer shawl held overhead, one's toe breaking the shallows, stepping where cardinal fire blooms dark on the wet stone. Imagine everyone, rhythmic arms breaking into amnesia. Give heed to shots of fire crackling behind her. Hope the gears don't slick in river's current. And cyclicality to this kind of blossom. Everything about this nature and this life luxuriously forgotten.
Yelp review for the universe. If you wanted to, you could be fooled. You could be fooled by 2-star coffee shops, the crushing collectivism of bad traffic, a particularly vindictive high school principal. You could be fooled by the mundane oiling of the world, the ancient manufacturing of days. It's easier that way, isn't it? Allowing the things that happen to continue to happen. The truth is, we are all rushing at the folds of a darkness which we can only name, like a train splitting through the dark, open desert, howling and seizing, racing towards its own vanishing point. It's easy to look away, to pretend the future is not pinching off the excess of each day. It's easy to be afraid. We are all learning to function, to improve, to become, finally, ourselves with ourselves. It is time to look into the night.
I turned 18 and drove up to the overlook, hoping the sky would tell me what to feel. It hasn't spoken yet, though I am sitting nearer to the edge than I have ever trusted myself to. I'm by the spot in which I let a friend kiss me and lied I liked them back. The silence in between us was of different hues. It took me weeks to let them down. Tonight, under the layered blues, I notice only motion certain. A train groans by, tree leaves breathe beyond the cliff. Friends I once brought up here unbecome my friends. In a few months, I'll move miles away and all these memories will blur, like stripes of sky above me fading to one shade. Till then, I'll live in little steps. I'll peer over the rock to see the purple darkness curdle darker. I'll look behind to catch a light bug flashing its approval twice. And when I stand and loose my pants to let a shining arc descend over the rock, I'll hold my breath to hear the water land.
Veracruz is a blue and white ribbon braided into stubborn hair, is 3 hours in a car I can't remember, is a girl painted white by sunscreen, is a girl left to boil back down to burnt, is not safe on the left side of the beach, is a chlorine pool in front of an oblivious ocean, is a glass of tap water branded bottle, is a stiff drink my father didn't regret, is a warning and a maze of yellow walls, is an eyelash away from a hurricane, is a place to watch the tiles rip from the roof. Excuse me, is a place to watch the tiles rip from the roof. No, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay. Is a warning and a maze of yellow walls. Is a hotel left smoking and wind and rain. Is a place to watch the tiles rip from the roof. Is a hurricane away from a hurricane. Is 3 hours in a car I can't remember.
Is arms laying me down in the wrong bed? Is not the reason we left, says my mother. Is a face I wear in the airport terminal. Is a lie on a map that I never point out. I hope this poem collides like bullet. I hope it collides like fist to mouth. You see, with freedom, there is a price to be paid, and those who vocalize slain. Heads will roll, fingers will fidget, teeth will fall like pieces of the rock. They'll fall like us brothers and sisters turning the gun on the police, and we ain't the ones getting shot. I want to see myself elevated, celebrated, demonstrated.
Well, we just did, but can we please applaud one more time these extraordinary 2018 poets? I want to tell you their names again. They are Darius Attifat Peckham, Heather Laurel Jensen, Daniel Block, Alexandra Contreras Montesano, and Ariana Smith.
To shake, to rebuke, to challenge another person, especially a stranger you'll never get to meet, is the power of art and writing.
Utilizing my canvas as a tool to communicate to the outside world what I sometimes find hard to put into words is what I value most.
I believe all of my work is written to be read out loud in a popping and slithering fashion.
Hi, my name is Eric Schlesinger. I'm 18 years old from Naperville, Illinois. I received a Gold Key and the New York Life Award in Film and Video Arts.
Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of the Alliance for Young Artists and Writers, Hugh Room.
Well, good afternoon, and a truly difficult act to follow. I want to talk to you a little bit about the awards. So, the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards are approaching their centennial. For 100 years, this organization has been trying to do what our founder, Robbie Robinson, conceptualized early in the last century, that this program would be the great encouragement. With that in mind, today we are celebrating the incredible work of the students in this room, and most of the people in Carnegie Hall today are here to cheer you on and give you that great encouragement. You've entered a world of artists. It's been no small process getting there. You need to know that we estimate about 3 million students do work in their schools. From that, the teachers put 340,000 pieces forward. And from that, we have the very, very distinguished group of creative people that sit here at Carnegie Hall today. The program has supporters, and they bring together great resources to help you along your way. We want you to be encouraged to keep the creative fires which brought you to Carnegie Hall lit. Our message is keep on moving. Let me tell you a short story. A principal at a nearby high school hosted a ceremony recognizing the school's most esteemed graduates. And in talking to one of the particularly successful people, a young woman, the principal said, "Well, what drove you to success?" And the woman said, "Well, I owe it entirely to you." And the principal said, "Well, I'm not sure how that could be. We didn't have very much contact when you were here." And the woman said, "Well, when I got on stage to get my diploma, You handed it to me, you looked me in the eye, you shook my hand firmly, and you said, "Keep on moving." And I have thought of those words every day ever since. Well, the message today for you is keep on moving. The throng in Carnegie Hall today is here to encourage you to keep on moving. The organizations that are here, your parents, the teachers, they're here for this purpose. The unsung group of organizations that underpin the awards, they provide the recognition, the scholarship opportunities of the Art and Writing Awards, are here to help you keep on moving. From the Scholastic Company, from the M.R. Robinson Foundation, and from Wells Fargo Bank, among the world's most generous corporations, they support your awards. These three groups represent people who want to help you keep on moving, and there are others, and let me name some of them. NEA, NYCDCA, Golden Artist Colors, Amazon Literary Partners, American Eagle Outfitters, the U.S. Department of Education, the National Writing Project, NAEA, the Pratt Institute and the New School, and Parsons. So here we are, due to their support all the way along the way. And now let me talk about the Special Achievement Awards. There are a number of them, and it is a spectacular moment that we're able to get this support for you in these particular ways. For example, the Civic Expression Award was underwritten by the M.R. Robinson Fund. The New York Life Foundation Award elevates the voice of bereaved teens and creates a healing conversation around grief. The Herblock Award for Editorial Cartoons celebrates the legacy of this prize-winning cartoonist. The One Earth Award recognizing creative achievements that examine the human-caused climate change. We have underwriting by the Bloomberg Philanthropies of a great set of awards for Best in Grade. The Entertainment Software Association Foundation recognizes video games and, by the way, uses this as a way to hunt for prospects in the future. The NAACP AXO Journey Award will provide travel stipends, and we have the Gold Medal Portfolio Awards, the nation's highest honor for the students and artists and writers that are here. 16 seniors receive $10,000 cash each. And there are 30 Silver Medal Distinction Portfolio Award recipients receiving $1,000 cash each. We want to thank again the key people that underwrote this event and this long process that brought you here. They are the Scholastic Company, the MRR Fund, Command Web Offset, the New York Times, Blick Art Materials, and Utrecht Art Supplies for their generous underwriting of the gold medal scholarships. So, these incredible organizations that work to help keep each award winner keep on moving, again, in the words of Robbie Robinson at the outset a century ago, quote, "The awards will ensure that a wide group of future citizens, regardless of vocation, have a sense of the power of independent thought and appreciation of the beauty and wonder of existence." Yes, it is the great encouragement. Thank you very much. Now the video.
Close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care if they call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. See, I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. We may be right, we may be wrong, but I wanna bring you along to the world I see, to the world we close our eyes to see. We close our eyes to see. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna
Hi, everyone. My name is Billy DeMichelle. I'm produced this show, have for the last 22 years. Thank you. I mostly get it right. I don't always get it right. And tonight I didn't get it right. And so I'm going to try to make it right. I had planned to bring up the Special Achievement Award winners onto the stage and realized that what I had thought about in my head didn't quite work on the stage. So instead, I want to ask these 79 extraordinary young artists and writers to please get up in your seats right now and come join me on this stage. Just come join me on this stage together. Come on. Come on. Come on, let's go. I'm so sorry. Come on, guys. That's it, everybody up on the stage. Here you are. Hello. Come on, guys, just come on, just fill this stage. Fill it. Just come on. We're not going to stop applauding till every single one of you is on this stage. Come on, keep going. Move this way. Move this way. Just keep moving. Keep moving. Yep. Keep moving. Come on. Almost all there. Keep coming. Keep going. Come on, come with me this way. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2019 Special Achievement Award winner. So, hopefully I've made this right. We're just going to take a second for these guys to get out. We're going to skip the next video because what I want to do is I want to introduce somebody very special who's with us this evening. I normally do it, as you can tell, from behind the scenes, but I'm going to do this introduction straight from the stage. So, our next guest won 2 Scholastic Awards for textile design and personal essay in 1999. Today, his name is known globally, and his clothes are worn by some of the world's most famous women, including Michelle Obama, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Rihanna. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Zac Posen.
Thank you. The Golden Key has been part of the iconography of the Scholastic Art and Writing Award for 96 years. Many great American artists and writers have received their start in the award in the past century, and I was fortunate enough to be one of those. As alums, we share a great responsibility to serve as a source of inspiration for students who aspire to careers in the arts and to fuel the energy and attention of jurors who take very seriously their responsibility to find the next Andy Warhol, Lena Dunham, Stephen King. Tonight, our 2019 Alumni Achievement Award, an award that I was thrilled to receive back in 2013. You may wonder at first why Dr. Lucianne Dr. Lucianne Walkowicz is this year's Scholastic Alumni Achievement honoree when you hear about her extraordinary body of work. Lucianne is an astronomer at the Adler Planetarium in Chicago. She is the 2018 Baruch S. Bloomberg NASA Library of Congress Chair in Astrobiology. She studies the ethics of Mars exploration, stellar magnetic activity, how stars influence a planet's sustainability, and hosts for alien life, how to use advanced computing to discover unusual events in large astronomical data sets. So why here tonight, instead of being at NASA or at the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony, considering she holds a Bachelor in Science and Physics and Astronomy from Johns Hopkins University and a master's degree and a PhD in astronomy from the University of Washington? Well, Lucianne was in 10th grade when she received a Scholastic Award for painting. Since then, she has always believed that she could be both a scientist and an artist. Many of you here tonight may not pursue a career in the arts, even though that passion will never leave you. That is totally okay because creative achievement takes many forms, and the work students like Lucianne and myself, and like you, produce for the Scholastic Award help establish a voice, an aesthetic that carries us through our entire lives, no matter what field we pursue, even the study of stars and space. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we honor stargazer extraordinaire Lucianne Walkowicz and the 2000, sorry, I'm gonna do it again, because I practiced backstage and I was having trouble. Excuse me. Lucianne Walkowicz and the 2019 Alumni Achievement Award.
I want everyone to know that Zac practiced my last name backstage and got it right every single time. Thank you so much for this incredible honor. It's so wonderful not only to be honored in this way, but also to be here tonight with all of you to celebrate your incredible achievements. You know, as someone who's made their career in the sciences as opposed to the arts, I really have found it challenging at times to maintain space for my artistic practice in my life. And in part, that's because there are 24 hours in the day and you're supposed to eat and sleep some of that time. But also it's because we live in a world where people sometimes try to put us in boxes so that we can be more easy to define. And that is to be resisted at all costs. So I wanted to share with you a quote that I've gathered a lot of strength from over the years. This comes from Martha Graham. There is a vitality, a life force, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium, and it will be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, how valuable it is, nor how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You don't even have to believe in yourself or your work. You have to keep open and aware directly the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. So tonight, aside from just talking with you in words, I decided to make something for you. So it's been a long time since I've actually painted, and my art takes on different forms now. But I wanted to communicate with you in the language that we share, one of mutual creativity. So I turned 40 this year, and one of the things that I like to do when I have a friend who has a birthday is to wish them, instead of happy birthday, happy orbit day, because I am a professional dork. But also because a year, right, is actually the orbit of our planet around our star. And the time that we mark and the unit that we use to mark out our age is literally related to the physical path that we take through the universe. And so tonight, as you embark on finding your own artistic path and finding where that fits for you in your life as you move forward, I wanted to share with you a piece of work that I had created around that idea. And I'll take a moment to thank my husband, Franco K., who is here in the audience, who wrote the music that you're about to see, or about to hear, and our friend Andrew Morrison, who did the videography. So without further ado, this is 40 Orbits. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this incredible honor, and congratulations to all of the winners tonight.
She's created some of the most compelling and hilarious characters in hit films like X-Men, Bridesmaids, Spy, and most recently, Instant Family. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rose Byrne.
Sorry, that was like a long walk from over there. Good evening, and thank you so much for having me. I'd written something, but then I just figured it's better if I do Tina Fey's speech again, because it was so amazing. She came off stage, and I was like, no! Carnegie Hall, come on, this is amazing! I can't believe I'm here. I know you guys were all born in 2010, but there has been legends on this stage, such as Led Zeppelin, right? Chuck Berry, the Indigo Girls. Hey, biggest cheer! I love it. You have all come from across this vast country, bringing your own unique talents and ferocious energies with you. I've been blown away sitting backstage here from what I have seen and heard of you guys, the most talented, creative teenagers in America. So I salute you. Artists are often asked why we do what we do. Clearly, we do it for the money. No? I was a shy and anxious kid, pretty anxious right now, just full disclosure, from a very loving family growing up in Sydney, Australia. And I fell in love with acting at a very young age, and in a way it was my savior. But I was rejected from every drama school. And even after moving to LA, after graduating high school, I spent 2 years there, and for the better part of that, I was crying on the phone to my parents. I was driving on the wrong side of the road in a rent-a-wreck rental car with no air conditioning, which I don't recommend. And I was constantly correcting people on my name. No, it's Byrne, not Bryn. But I'm telling you all this because every person here will have a journey singular to yourself and the artistic world that you choose. And being an artist, I think, is not really a choice. It chooses you. It's when you can't not do it. And that includes the incredible highs and the incredible lows. And when I was 8 years old in my first acting class, I went from being a very shy, worried little girl to feeling as though I had a purpose and a passion. And seeing and hearing all of your brilliant and transformative stories, hearing about you finding your purpose and your passion, and looking at all these incredible faces in front of me tonight, I am so inspired and so hopeful. The relationship every single one of you have with your art is magical, it's precious, it's sacred, and it's yours. You all are the future. You're the next ones to stand up here. The world is yours. I'm just here with the cleanup crew. Know your power. Know that your vulnerability can also be your power. Keep asking questions. Keep listening. Keep being creative and keep striving. And to quote the great, iconic hip-hop artist, Nas, is that too dated? If you are scared to take chances, you'll never have the answers. I'm honored to share this moment with you tonight. Bravo and congratulations, and let's take one last look at the remarkable work that got you here.
This is the greatest show, where it's covering all the
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2019 National Student Medalists.
This is the greatest show. We're lighting up, we won't come down, and the walls can't stop us now. Watching it come true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show. This is the greatest show.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.